Peace, family. How are you? Hope all is well. So, on my way to the store, and I wanted to make this video real quick because a lot of people have been asking me this question. Give me your hand, Aquarium. Go ahead. Asking me this question today. I was on another post, right? And they were wondering what was the symbolism of Donald Trump in the Bible, holding the Bible up in front of the church, right? There's a variety of symbols, but since we know that Donald Trump has the IQ of a snail, then I'm gonna let you know what that was. So, him standing in front of the church with that Bible was a white supremacy dog whistle, right? It was done like that to send out a signal to white supremacists, right? The Bible, right? The American Bible, what's his name? King James Bible is a white Bible, right? We do agree about that, right? That's not the African Bible. Grab these. No. What's that? My wallets, both of them. Thank you. Go ahead. So yeah, that was, this nation took an oath on that same Bible, right? To uphold white supremacy for all their days on the planet, right? So, see, my grandmother is from South Carolina, right? My grandmother and my grandfather on my mother's side, right, are both from South Carolina. My grandmother's family originated from the Gullah Islands, and then they moved upwards, right? That's Charleston. And then my grandfather's family has always been in Sumter, right? So Sumter is named after the general who set off the Civil War, okay? So a lot of people get this confused. Sumter is a city in the state of South Carolina. Thomas Sumter, his name was Thomas Sumter, was the general who led the South into civil war at Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina. Got that? Right? So, see, my grandmother used to tell me the stories, right? Because my grandmother was 92 when she returned. And she used to tell me the stories, and it was kind of horrifying. I was young when grandmother told, when my Nana started telling me these things, I was young. And it was creepy because we lived in the north, but we would go to the south every summer, right? So she would give me history of everything around there. See, where I had family still living on the fucking plantations in the 70s. They still had outhouses. They still had cotton and cornfields around them. They still were in the actual slave houses. We used to lay underneath of them and listen to the elders talk on the porch, right? And I was always a good listener, and I paid attention to everything. And they would tell the stories, right? But my grandmother told me personally about how they would kill her family, how she would walk, because they had to go from those same slave houses I'm talking about, because she was young when they got up to Sumter. So those same slave houses, and then they would have to go through the woods in order to get to school. So the way it's set up now, they cut the woods down, but I can imagine, right? So she said they would see bloody shoes, bloody clothes, you name it. Things all burnt and charred. Even dead, they would see dead bodies hung from trees. People were raped, lynched, murdered. Right there. Between her, walking from her home to less than a mile worth of wooded area to school. Right? So I've always been aware, and she would tell me the things they would do. Come here, Aquaria. She would tell me they would burn crosses, because where those plantation houses are, next, right over, right across where my aunts and them used to stay. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Those were, where was I? Because the brother just said they all around here too, sister. I know. I'm over here. Where we'll go further into that. But my point being made is, let's stand here, Aquaria, so I can finish my video and then we'll go. The point being made here is she would tell me these things, and she would tell me how the clans would go in the middle of the field, burn the crosses, and they had routines, they had patterns. My grandmother was born in the she was born two years after the pandemic, right? 1917, 18, but she was born, I think, 1921. But anyway, so you can imagine what she saw, right? I put that out there because the cross, the Bible, the King James specifically, right, and the clans are one and the same. They always been and always will be. So when you seen Donald Trump take his hand on the Bible, put it up in the air behind the church, he swears by white supremacy, by that Bible that George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Ford, Nixon, you name it, swore on to uphold white supremacy, okay? I just want you guys to be aware that is a symbol, right? It is a dog whistle that he sent out because he already knew that the military was not really going to do what he wants them to do, right? So he said, if you can't contain them, then I'm going to sick white supremacy on them. See, Donald Trump became president because he wanted this to create this race war. Not only did he want to send immigrants back home, he wanted to kill us here in America. See, they been did the numbers on us, and they already know they outnumbered 10-1 because we're everywhere. We are multiplied everywhere, especially in the military. So he sent that dog whistle out for white supremacy, to get armed, bear arms, raise that flag, and get to moving. Restore law and order. See, he looking for a new sheriff in town. He said, fuck the Italians and the Polish and the Irish. He's just going to get him a new team of Southern races to do his bidding all around this world globally. That's the dog whistle, though, right? I will go deeper and further into that. Much deeper, much further. But I'm out and about with my G baby. I got a few things to do, a few runs to make, and that will be my next subject. I'll go a little deeper into it with you guys. That being said, I'm out. Peace.